how's life? Maybe you have a person in your family, somebody around you, who's been with you for a long time and who is chronically ill. I'm thinking of an Alzheimer patient. I'm thinking of somebody who cannot walk very well, they can't feed themselves very well, somebody who is very dependent, somebody who's always requiring that you help them, somebody that you love, somebody that you don't want to get rid of, somebody that you feel committed to, and who is taking up an enormous amount of your energy. Now, it is a nightmare for the caretaker, because even if you do love this person a lot, even if you do everything that's expected from you, there will come a time when you become impatient and when you want them to disappear and when you want to get rid of them, because you are forsaking your life for theirs, and nobody who is healthy wants to do that. So there's no reason for you to feel guilty about this. It's a natural feeling. But what you can do is take good care of yourself. These people who are suffering so much will sometimes also develop very interesting, to call it somehow, interesting defense modes. One of them is manipulation, giving you guilt trips. You will suffer from guilt, you will suffer from the feeling of wanting to get rid of them, wanting to get rid of the situation in itself. You will suffer from being needed all the time, being the only one who can cater for them. You will suffer possibly as much as a person who is chronically ill. What I think is essential are two things. One, take care of the caretaker. As a caretaker, it is your duty to give yourself such a good life that you won't become bitter, revengeful, or horrible. It's much better to leave them with a second best caretaker. It's much better to distance yourself from them enough so that you don't become bitter, revengeful, or spiteful. That's very, very important. So when you take a Saturday off to go to the cinema, or you regularly have a yoga class 3 times a week and they're left with somebody else, or they are looked after in a home or whatever, even if they complain tremendously, if that is what it takes for you not to become bitter, revengeful and spiteful, you're doing the right thing, okay? Even if they complain bitterly, because you have to look after your soul and it has to stay clean. Looking after somebody who's chronically ill is very, very, very demanding. The second thing I think you need to do is to realize that the illness is not your loved one. I usually watch this series, well, I watched it for a few years with my son, and it was loads of fun. It was called Supernatural. And I loved the way that they spoke about being possessed by a devil, like this black cloud came into your mouth and then it poured out when you were exorcised. That's a very good image for me to realize how a person who is ill is very similar to something, that the concept of possession. The illness has possessed the person that you love. And you're not just talking to them, they are in there also. And we have to remember that we have to separate the illness from the person, even if the illness has transformed the person we love notoriously, and there's only a glimpse of them now and again. So, my final message, just remember this, 2 aspects. The sick person is not just sick. There is your loved one in there somewhere. So separate the illness from the person. And number 2, perhaps the most important, look after yourself enough so that you do not become worn out and you do not become bitter and revengeful, because you will then be fighting for your own space and you can become cruel to the other person. So take care of yourself enough so that you're a good caretaker. See you next week.